have been and what I've been doing, and I will tell you that everything went really well with my gallbladder flush. It was all fantastic, which is amazing. And I've been working on a series of paintings for an exhibition that I'm part of in August, which is called Wise Woman. It's the Witches Revival, and it's held every year at the Story Gallery. And I've been so happy and honoured to be asked if I want to put an exhibition in there alongside other exhibitions that's happening. They've got talks, there's all sorts going on, ceremonies. Oh, it's just going to be beautiful, and it's all about wise woman calling you home and what that means to you. And it took me on a journey, a real big journey, because I didn't really understand what I was going to do for it. But now I know. So that's what I've been doing. I've been painting. I'll tell you a little bit about it. So I went completely round the houses about what I was going to do for the Wise Woman exhibition, and I started thinking outside of myself. I started thinking more about the viewer and what the viewer's going to think. And then I had a talk with Callie, who's the lady that runs the whole thing, has created the whole thing and makes it happen each year with some of the ladies. And Callie said to me, you've got to think of the inside. It's coming from the inside, going out, not the outside. And it really helped. So before that, I'd had all sorts of ideas about what I was going to do, and it was all going to be linked to different things, botanicals at first, and I was thinking about wise women like Anna Atkins, who was the first woman, or first person actually, to do cyanotypes. She did a botanical book, and thinking about people like Beatrix Potter, who, you know, back then really struggled because she was a woman to get publishers to take her seriously, but she ended up making a huge career out of it. But also she was really into mushrooms, and then she ended up, her legacy is that she bought up loads of the Lake District and left it to the National Trust, never to be demolished or built on or anything like that, so which is just incredible. So I was thinking about all of those in the beginning, and then the more I started working with Wise Woman with my illness, with my gallbladder illness and stuff, I started thinking about my mum and how she was only 67 when she died, which I think's pretty young, really. And that was through an illness, and it was through an illness, sadly, that she didn't intentionally, but did cause herself by not eating properly. And I started to think of all that, and I started to think about how wise women have impacted my life, and how I didn't actually know my biological grandmothers on either side at all. So it's ended up being all about that, about grandmothers and ancestors, and all kind of the link that we have between them, between us, between the women that we know, between the women that we grow up with, whether that's biological or not. But for me, it was about the biological part of it. Belonging, feeling like you belong or not. Really interesting how it's gone from something outside of myself, like about other women that I've got no links to apart from admiring them, to actually linked to my own family. So it's been really interesting, the progression with it. and how it's led me to where I am now. So I've made a body of work which I'm still making, and I'm not going to reveal any of the other body of work that I'm making, because I want it to be that the people that buy the tickets to come to the Wise Woman revival event will get to see my work first. If you're one of my Patreons, I have been sharing little behind the scene exclusives that I won't be sharing on any other platforms, and I will eventually share all of my work. But yeah, I think it's important that the people that come to the exhibition see it first in all its glory. When I thought of that word, then in my head I was like, or not, maybe it won't be. And that's where your inner critic comes in, to doubt what you're doing. Is it actually suitable? Is it, all that outside thing again, when actually it's all about the inside, your own working through all of this. So basically what I'm going to do is, and what I have been doing is, I've been painting grandmothers that I never had. So all different facets of grandmothers, wise women that I've never known. Or maybe I know in some way, like for example, we have a lovely next door neighbour. She's wise and she always makes me smile, and I think, if I was younger, I would love for her to be my grandmother. And I'm thinking about the different women that I know already, and women that I'd like to have been my grandmother. So doing a series of paintings, and then this painting that I'm working on at the minute is going to be the main painting in the middle of them all. And if you haven't guessed, this is me, a pregnant me. I'm just started working on this today, so it will look very different. The hair will be greyer and things like that. And it's about the connection that we have to our grandmothers, even when we're in our mother's wombs. There's a lovely bit of writing about how our grandmother's eggs and our mother's eggs and our eggs, we're all like connected all the way through, and I thought this was a really interesting thing. So this piece will connect all my grandmothers to me, and I will be connected to my grandmothers. So it's really exciting, and I'm enjoying working through the process, see what comes up for me, see how it's going. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've been enjoying the weekends. I've been really on purpose slowing down, making the time to appreciate life, really. And I've been thinking about when I was poorly and I couldn't do much, I couldn't move about much, I couldn't hoover, I couldn't do all the things. And I was thinking about how actually important our health is, more than anything else. It's more important to be healthy than your business, than anything else. It's your health is the most important thing. And I think that's made me slow down. And that's the noise of my paint. And this Wise Woman project is also helping me as well, because before, even though my job is being an artist, it's almost like I'd feel a little bit guilty about doing my painting, which is just ridiculous, isn't it? But that's exactly how I felt. And yeah, through being poorly and stuff, I've realised that actually I am allowed to paint, I am allowed to slow down, and through having this exhibition coming up, that also gives me an excuse. Like I need an excuse. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But I think, so say like you was a lawyer and you had to go to work every day in an office and you had clients to see, but then you had to go on a training day, for example, because new laws had come in or something, and that was in a different city, you'd kind of just accept that that's what you had to do. But as an artist, I've really struggled with doing things like going to galleries for inspiration or taking myself out on the train with my sketchbook, because it's almost like that's a jolly, that's a day out, it's not actually work. But it really is work, because if you're not inspired, if you're not learning and being inspired creatively, I think that can give you big blocks. So that's been really interesting, figuring that out and allowing myself the time to go and do things. I spent such a glorious Friday last week at my friend's house. I went on the train to visit her, and she's got the most gorgeous garden, and she's so lovely and so welcoming, and it was just wonderful, and not once did I feel guilty about just sitting there with her all day chatting. It was so nice. But pre-gallbladder malarkey, I wouldn't have done that because I'd have felt really guilty about it. So actually it's been a blessing, a real blessing. So I know this isn't a very long video and there's not much to it, but I just wanted to catch you up with where I am and what I'm doing, and to talk a little bit about what I'm processing at the minute and what's happening. And I can show you my sketchbook to see how I got to where I am so far. So I've got this book which I write everything in, and it's got all sorts of poetry and things in it, and it started here. So this is me and my mum, and this was my mum's birth parents. She didn't know them, and she died before I found them. And this is a picture that my second cousins had, which I found through Ancestry, which is just amazing. So my mum was adopted when she was little, and this is my mum's family as well. And it was just such a lovely start to this whole process, thinking about my grandmothers, where they'd come from. And then I had this idea, this vision, to paint myself in, and this was all water and it was all connected. But then from that I've gone on to the project that I'm on now, the project about grandmothers. So this is an inspiration for one of my paintings that I've done, and how she comes, and this one is a spring wise woman. That's how it started, and all the things and what she's about, and about healing and health and slowing down, appreciating new life that's appearing in nature. She teaches us to cleanse our bodies, detox from what we don't need anymore, and to slug off that stagnant winter kind of energy. We're obviously now in June, so we're going into summer soon as well. So that's where I'm up to with that. And then got some images of grandmothers. Grandmothers are not pregnant normally, but I just wanted the image of it together for this togetherness. This is going to go in the sketchbook as well. These are actually nothing to do with my art project, but I had a beautiful rose and it dropped its petals today, so I went out and collected them, and I'm going to dry them all out. They smell divine. And I have got other images as well of different women, and these are some digital images that I've created that I'm going to paint from. So it's all coming together beautifully so far. So I just thought I'd check in, say hello, tell you what I'm up to, and yeah, I'll do another video soon.